The first time I tried to film while scuba diving was an interesting experience. As soon as my dive partner and I started to descend, I quickly realized that I had my snorkel in my mouth instead of my regulator. Needless to say, having a camera can be quite distracting and can sometimes take your mind off of safety in the water. I was diving into a very controlled environment in this case, so making mistakes and addressing them, while not great, it still was fairly safe. My point is that you should really get comfortable scuba diving and knowing your limits before you even try to add a camera into the mix. With that being said, there are some basic tricks and techniques with filming underwater that you can apply to help ease some of those problems, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Before we jump into this video, I wanted to take a second to invite you to be part of the Voyager community. Frame Voyager is all about finding awesome stories to tell and helping you to find yours through our videos, and I love getting to interact with other filmmakers and storytellers that are already part of this channel. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up to date with all of our content. Now, let's get back to the video. Before you head out with your camera to your local diving hole, practice in a pool. I found that just renting out a lane for a few hours at a local YMCA was perfect for training myself and getting all of my equipment dialed in before I actually went out and filmed in open water environments. Doing this allows you to come up out of the water and adjust your camera on the side of the pool and make multiple trips up and down as needed. This honestly is a much better environment to work out the kinks than in an overcrowded dive spot. If you don't have a YMCA around you, check out some local listings to see if you can find a neighborhood pool, or see if a friend will let you come over to use their pool to test out your equipment. Always, and I really mean always, make sure you're diving with a scuba buddy when you're diving and filming. Don't try to film by yourself in any circumstance while diving. While you can get comfortable using both your camera and dive equipment at the same time, it still does not keep you from being slightly distracted. You'll be looking at the screen a lot while you're diving, and you won't always see certain things around you. A dive buddy will be there to look out for things that would be potentially hazardous for you. And one thing I will also say too is to make sure that the dive buddy you choose to go filming with is someone that you've gone diving with before and has also had some experience working with you while filming underwater, so they can know what to look out for. They can help you in situations when your mask gets flooded or if you lose a regulator, grabbing the camera for you so you can deal with the issue. Always have your underwater housing mostly set up before you even arrive at the dive site. Now, you won't always be able to put everything together, like the port, on until you're ready to go, but you can have your camera assembled correctly and inside the underwater housing before you get there. This honestly is key because it allows you to have time to properly set up your camera equipment and not rush it at the last second. Rushing anything at the last second while getting ready to dive could either result in your camera equipment getting destroyed or you not giving enough attention to your scuba gear while assembling it and honestly creating a serious situation underwater. Always make sure you're prepared and are not rushing anything before a dive. Preparation will help make your dive more enjoyable, fun, and safe, and you'll get better footage rather than being stressed out the entire time and doing things haphazardly, not only putting yourself at risk, but others. Figure out how to achieve proper trim and neutral buoyancy. This honestly is a really good aspect to test in a pool before you go out and dive for real. The key here is really making sure that you are not fighting the camera the entire dive. Because of the air inside the underwater housing, your camera will already be positively buoyant, meaning that it will always float to the surface unless you add weight to it. If you add too much weight to it, it will drop like a rock and pull you down with it, affecting your own buoyancy. You really want to strike the proper balance of opposing forces to get your camera to be neutrally buoyant, meaning that you can let go of it and it won't sink down or rise to the surface. Now, some prefer for their rigs to be slightly negatively buoyant, and that's something you'll really have to just experiment with to see what you're most comfortable with and what works best for you. Just make sure that the camera does not adversely affect you in the water. You really don't want your camera to greatly affect your buoyancy. Every rig is different, and it will really need to be adjusted uniquely to how you have your camera set up. Now, as far as how to add weights to the rig, there are some attachments you can buy for your rig, similar to the weights used on gimbals, or you can always use what you have available to you, like a mesh bag, and adding some weights into that mesh bag. Generally, for me, I like to have my weights fairly centered so it's not going one side to the other, and not really hanging down from it too far. Otherwise, it kind of makes the rig a little bit unwieldy. If it's not possible to put weights in the middle, putting them on both sides, equal weights on both sides of the rigs, is a good way of doing it as well. There are honestly a multitude of ways to do it. Just make sure whatever way you decide to rig up your weights, it doesn't become a safety issue for you or anyone else you're diving with. One last tip, mentally prepare yourself to lose your camera on every single dive. If it's between you and your camera in a bad situation, you already need to have it worked out in your head that it's okay to lose the camera. You don't want to have a moment of hesitation when something goes wrong while diving and you need to make a split-second decision. So honestly, I would say, again, make sure you're mentally prepared. Go into diving expecting that you'll lose your camera and knowing that it's going to be okay. It's better to get yourself mentally prepared. Well, that's it for today's video. I really hope all of you have been enjoying our scuba diving content and maybe even getting that itch to try it out for yourself. If you feel like I missed something or said something wrong, please let us know in the comments below. We really love hearing from you. Until next time, this is John Owens with Frame Voyager.